What is up, best ones worldwide? It's the best one, Donnie here, back with another challenge review. If you're not a best one yet already, help support the channel by hitting that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications, because of course you already know the grind is real. And this episode we are going to be reviewing is episode 3, which is the one that happened last week. Because unfortunately, I've been very busy this past week, so I've not had the opportunity or chance to cover episode 3 of Ride or Dies. And with my OCD, I feel really disorganized when I skip an episode. So, in the next day or two, episode 4 of my review from this past week's episode of Ride or Dies will be up. But now, getting into episode 3, we start this off with the surprise of Jordan and Anissa joining the game now as, Super Ride or Dies. And this was where one of my cons was into this episode. I kind of wish that this season for Ride or Dies, they paired Anissa up with somebody else, and I wish that they paired someone else up with Jordan, and I think Jordan's Ride or Die, it should have been Naya. I think that, especially with the history that they had on the real world Portland, and, where they started, hating each other, wanting to strangle each other's necks, to, becoming really close, I think that would have been a really, good factor into this season. I think having them, their real Ride or Dies. And I feel like, Anissa, they probably paired her up with Jordan because they want her to get that win. And Jordan, is a beast when it comes to the challenge. And they wanted to have her and him on the season. But they really had no Ride or Die pairs for them. So they just said,
you guys have been on some seasons together. Let's pair you up.
And we really did not have any, throwback clips or anything of Jordan and Anissa because they're not really Ride or Die. They're not real Ride or Dies, which I think is one of the cons for this. But I'm very happy to see both of them on this season, just not as a pair. Also, I did like how the challenge in this episode, they showed, the history with Jordan and Tori, because, Jordan entering the house now. This is the first time that Jordan and Tori have seen each other since they broke off the engagement. And it was very interesting that they showed, the throwback clips of, Jordan proposing to her and pretty much all, the good times and really getting to hear both sides of how they both felt after the breakup, which I think, the challenge did a really good job there. Also, I gotta say, in this episode, one person that really stood out was Fessel, aka Fessy. I am not the biggest fan of him, but I gotta say, this season, he is playing very smart and low-key, and I think somebody similar to doing that is Nelson, which we gotta get into next episode, because that's where he, shined. But this episode here, Fessy, really impressed me a lot. I feel like he's playing very smart and low-key, which, you need to do in the beginning of the challenge. He's doing everything right now. Also, one thing that really stood out to me as well in this episode, now that we're 3 episodes deep, one of the pros I had for this was Johnny and Raven, the rookie pair. I really like how they're showing the good and they're showing the bad. In this episode, especially the bad, because, of course, Raven, is jealous that Johnny, has his, feelings for Nerys in this episode. So she feels some type of way, and she feels like he's not really giving any effort with this team. And I really like how they're showing, the tension there. They are working good together when it comes to these daily challenges and stuff, but when it comes to, being in the house, that is where they're showing the problems. And I like that because they're not hiding it, which, makes this entertaining. Also, one funny thing that I did enjoy in this was the messy Fessy thing. Bananas, of course, he did his little joke with Fessy because we saw Fessy cuddling with 4 different girls. on the same season of the challenge, literally probably in 48-hour span. Which, in the challenge house, there are some players in there, but Messy Fessy is back, and we all know later on, he's got his eyes on, Colleen, which she's paired up with Kim, who they're also a rookie pairing there. But, Fessy, he's getting to know everybody. And if you guys like Challenge Mania, hosted by Scott Yeager and Derek, definitely recommend you to check out their podcast, because the interview that they did with Fessy on there, was really good. And I got a lot of cool insight, like why a lot of these girls, were cuddling with him and stuff. And that was because him and Nelson actually had the best room in the house, and they didn't have bunk beds. They actually had pretty good sized beds, which is, something interesting that they don't show. I kind of wish that Nelson and Fessy, they showed that of them talking about the room and stuff. They could have done something there, but you only get 90 minutes per episode, so you can only add so much in there. Also, I gotta say, the Build Me Up Daily Challenge, I thought it was an alright daily. I think these daily challenges this season are actually pretty good, and I've been so far pretty impressed. And I learned from this episode the one pair that I hate, which usually every season there is one or two teams I hate, but this one team that I cannot stand, and I don't know if it's just me, Challenge Maniacs, I don't know if it's just me, but I cannot stand the pairing of Tommy and Annalise. I cannot stand them, and maybe it's because they're trying to play a Big Brother game in this, and I get into a lot more stuff with Tommy and Annalise through this episode, but I just realized I could not stand them. I believe it was during the daily challenge. And I gotta say, one team that's been a rookie pair that has really stood out to me when it comes to, in these daily challenges have got to be Raven and Johnny. I think that these two, they, really impressed me in this daily. They were very close to winning it, but unfortunately they couldn't get the job done. And, Fessy is also, playing, I think, a smart game. And, he's keeping the winning teams, which is very, very smart on his head. Not throwing in really any veterans in there, because he doesn't want to, ruffle up some feathers, because he knows if he ruffles up some feathers with Bananas, who is tied in with Nani, who, is pretty much dating Casey, who, is Fessy's, ride or die on the challenge. That's, the part where, this game is really messy, and I think, Fessy being smart, keeping these winning teams around, is a smart move right now. Because, honestly, the real game hasn't started yet. So, we get into, the pairs that Fessy and, his partner picked. And I gotta say, Olivia and Horacio, they are, playing smart. And I think, she made a really good point about the threats, about, the good teams and, the threats. I think it's very accurate what she's saying, because you really, if you want to get somebody freaking big out of this game, now is the time, especially against, these strong rookie pairs. Because we've seen how good Horacio and Olivia have done, and we've also seen how good Johnny and Raven have done as a team. Maybe not in the house, but when it comes to the challenges, they definitely show up. And, Tommy, he's in there, and he is just, trying to politic and do this and that, trying to, be a good challenger. And in my mind, Tommy's gotta go. All right, because him and Annalise, they are just layups, I think, in this season. And maybe that's a hot take. Maybe it's because I, didn't watch their Big Brother season. But what they're not really giving me anything good on this season of the challenge. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if I'm crazy or not. Let me know in the comment section, please. Maybe there's something I'm missing. But Johnny, I think, is playing a very smart game. Not Bananas. I'm talking about the rookie Johnny. I gotta say, he's playing very smart. And Tommy and Annalise, not only are they layups on, this episode, they are also horrible at politicking. And I'd honestly bit them in the ass later on, which I will get into in episode 4 video. It's just a little bit more refreshing, episode 4 than episode 3. And I know we get to, the club where, the challengers, they're partying, they're celebrating, and Jordan and Tori, they started talking, and I gotta say, this was such an emotional moment for me. I actually was really sad because you can just tell, like, both of them, they don't have hate for each other, and they've been through a lot, and seeing them two, handle themselves the way they did in this very toxic environment, being in a challenge house, like, all props to both Tori and Jordan, and I think they both really handled it well. And we'll have to see where, things go from here, because I think we are, not seeing anything yet. Right now, they might be on good terms, but we'll have to see what happens throughout this season, because these two teams aren't going anywhere anytime soon. And one thing I gotta say through this as well, Colleen, I think, is very smart. I think her and Kim, they're going to be a very underrated pairing in, this game. I think, her being really smart and playing it calm is one of the smartest moves you can do as a rookie, because that's the thing. If you show sign of fear, or you don't want to go down there, they are going to do everything in their power to get you in there. And the thing is, with Colleen and Kim, they're not really making a lot of noise right now, and that is the smartest thing to do as a rookie. You stay shut, you do what you gotta do, and then when the time is right, you make the right move, which is a very rare occasion to do, because rookies come into this game, they don't really know what they're doing, which is why, some of the best in the game, like Johnny Bananas, in his first season of the challenge, he got eliminated the first episode. And look at how much he's carved his legacy into this game. 7-time champion. So, you learn a lot when you're a rookie, and usually you come back and you do better. But I think some of these rookies here, they played really freaking good this season. And Colleen and Kim, they're another team you really got to watch out for. Then we get, Fessy and Horacio. We get some drama there. Fessy jealous, saying, oh, Horacio, he friggin' gets my sloppy seconds, and this and that. Which I really hope down the line we get something there with Horacio and Fessy. Because if, they're showing this, and they don't, do anything at all during the season, then what was the point of that? You wasted 2 minutes of our time by doing that. So then we get, to the daggers, where, the three teams, they pretty much, have to pull a dagger, and, one of them is the safe dagger. So, both the winning pairs there, Fessy and Mariah, they end up sending down to the elimination Johnny and Raven, and then, unfortunately, my worst nightmare happened. Tommy pulled the safe dagger. What the I cannot stand this pairing at all. And then I think the icing on the cake for me not standing this pair was when Tommy decided to, go against his deal and put in Horacio and Olivia into elimination. I really don't think that was smart at the time. I think he really effed up in this situation, because it was smart putting in two dominant rookie teams. I will give Tommy credit where it's due. That was smart. But, unfortunately, Horacio came back as, I think, that team is really good. And I think if any vet was smart, they would probably try to keep them away from the eliminations. They came back and pretty much it bit them in the ass. But also at the same time, this did not help, it didn't help Tommy and Annalise as well, because, they already came from Big Brother, so a lot of people already have their opinions about Big Brother being sneaky players. Because in the Big Brother house, you basically have to play politics 24/7. especially, having 3 episodes a week for an hour, which I don't know how you Big Brother fans actually can watch all that freaking content. But when it comes down to it, Tommy and Annalise showed that they can't be trusted. And that is something, that is not good when you are a rookie. You have to be very careful with these decisions that you make. You want to keep, your enemies closer. And if they were wanting to go after Horacio and Olivia, which I really don't think that them two are going to go after Tommy and Annalise, because it seems like Horacio is being one of those, fair players that want to play with honor, they could have been in a pretty good spot. The rookies are basically going after each other, which is exactly what the vets do every single season. And I feel like we're always going to be getting that because the rookies really just don't all come together at the end of the day. So, unfortunately, we had to see Tommy live another day in the challenge house, and he sent in Horacio and Olivia. And I gotta say, in this elimination, it was a banger. I really enjoyed this elimination, and my opinion about all 4 of these challengers, Raven, Johnny, Horacio, and Olivia, all 4 of them need to be on future seasons of the challenge because they have what it takes to, be a part of this franchise. And you got Johnny, who is a great competitor, Horacio, who's also a great competitor. You need to have some, athletic, threats in the game to really, ruffle up some feathers. Then you got Olivia, who just, makes great reality TV. She just, great confessionals, knows what she's doing. And then you got Raven, who, is out there being real, which is great. And this is what I love about these rookie pairings. For the first time ever, as a challenge viewer, I am actually invested in these rookies. Like last few seasons, I really could not, I really did not enjoy any of the rookies that they were bringing in that much. There were still a few of them that I did enjoy here and there. But this season, they got a lot of rookies that they definitely need to consider coming back. And damn, it is way too early for Johnny and Raven to be out of this game. I feel like they definitely could have been a contender. And hopefully next season, if Raven and Johnny come back, they can make, good alliances now that they played a game of the challenge, and they can come back and maybe down the line become future challenge champions. Same with Olivia and Horacio. I love the rookie pairs this season, and at first I was really questioning it because I've never heard of Kim or Colleen from, Germany. And, at first, I was questioning Horacio and Olivia and, all of them. I knew Nerys was going to come in here and be awesome because I've seen a lot of her stuff with X on the Beach and Are You the One? But a lot of these rookies really stood out to me. The only ones that haven't really impressed me at all is Tommy and Annalise. But maybe next episode they do impress me. That is why you got to tune in to, the next episode, which I talk about episode 4, which will probably be out tomorrow or the next day. But let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts were on the Challenge Ride or Die episode 3. I thought overall that this was a solid episode. Some, things that were missing out of this that I felt like should have been in there. But overall, the game is actually getting interesting. I wish that we would get the vets a little bit more on our screens, but I get it. They want to showcase the rookies, and they got me invested in the rookies. But if you enjoyed this, review, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a best one yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. Links down in the description below. You can go follow me on my social medias and other YouTube pages, all that down below. And of course, to all the best ones out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.